All systems go. Clear for liftoff.
What is going on, SHIPIT Nation YouTube station? We're back Tuesday, I almost said Thursday. Tuesday, February 4th. We got 10 games on DraftKings, 14 games on FanDuel. DraftKings did leave the 4 late-night games off the main slate. Take it for what it's worth. Unfortunately, those are some of the better games of today, but they are not on the main slate. So there is no 4-game late slate or a 4-game late slate on the main slate. There should be, I think DraftKings already has contest up for that 4-gamer there. But the last game of the slate is cut off here tonight at San Jose and 1 second, excuse me. Sorry, let me refresh here. Philly, Utah, is the last game. So, again, those late games are not on DraftKings. They are on FanDuel. The slate plan does not cover those, obviously, over at ShipItNation.com. But our matchup sheet does have those games on there if you're interested in looking at those. But let's go ahead and share the screen, add up the stone, as you can see here up on the screen. We're going to walk through, again, the main slate, like I said, for DraftKings. First game on the docket, Minnesota and Boston. Marc-Andre Fleury is going to start here tonight for the Wild. He has not been great. It's a decent spot here for Boston, I think. Not a great game in general. 5.5 total here. Looking at the numbers, Wild aren't great defensively on the road in terms of the expected goals category. They allow a lot of shots on net. And Fleury is not as good as Gustav here. So I don't mind some Boston. Zacha, Pastrnak, and Morgan Geekie is kind of where I would go. I'm seeing Pasta as pretty chalky for a good reason. He has destroyed Minnesota in his career, and he's 8,600. That's a pretty good price point for there. Hard for me to argue that. Charlie Mack and Mason Lohrei, from the defensive standpoint, Mason Lohrei at 3,300. Really solid play. Charlie Mack, really, really good option as well. On the Wild side, you can definitely play some Wild. Swayman has not been good. Boston's been really, really atrocious at home. So I actually like this game for a 5.5 total from an offense standpoint. Offense is tough to come by on the slate. I think a lot of the offense is going to, or the ownership is going to centralize around a few of the good spots because overall it's a pretty wide open slate in my opinion. So on the Wild side, Eriksson, Marco Rossi, Boldy, Zuccarello, and Spurgeon are kind of the guys I'm looking at. Brock Faber's got a fair price point at 3,900. He's solid. Freddie Gaudreau at 3,100 is a solid value. He's been playing pretty good hockey right now. Don't mind Freddie Gaudreau, but pretty solid game in general to target. Both these goalies can definitely be scored on. Swayman's been worse than Fleury, but Fleury has definitely been known to give up some goals in a hurry there. So pretty solid one to kick us off. Into another solid one here, Columbus and the Buffalo Sabres. Sabres are going to be without Tage Thompson. He suffered that cross-check last game, did get injured as well. So he did not make the morning skate, likely not going to play here. So that gives some values to guys like Dylan Cousins, Jerry Kulich, Peterka, Tuuk, and Zucker. Those are kind of the 5 guys I have interest in there. I actually like I would like the Sabres more here personally if Tage was there, but I still think the Sabres are solid. Elvis has not been great. Blue Jackets on the road aren't great defensively, especially on that penalty kill. So it'd be the top power play for me for the Sabres, which is going to be Cousins, likely Peterka, Tuuk, Zucker. Jack Quinn might be up there, Rasmus Dahlin. So you have to pay attention to the line shuffles. Obviously, with the injury with Tage Thompson, they're going to work some stuff out this morning here on Morning Skate to determine what that top power play is. But I have some interest in the top power play guys for Buffalo. On the Blue Jackets side, Vornikov is fine. Fantilli's a really good option at 5,800. Fantilli's just been smashing. He's in that mid-tier. He's a really good option. I don't mind him with Vornikov. But they're dealing with some injuries as well. Marchenko is out, I believe, for Columbus, so that definitely hurts them. So for me, it's kind of the Sabres are pass for me in this game. Sabres power play is kind of what I'm looking at here tonight. Next game on the slate here, Senators and the Lightning. Tampa at home. Tampa heavy favorites. I expect them to get a decent amount of ownership. I don't love it, to be honest. Allmark's been really good. I think he's a solid option in tournaments at 7,100. Not many people are going to play him. At the spend up, Vasilevsky's also a good option. Both two solid goalies here. I think it's goalies or pass for me in this game. I don't love the offensive standpoint here. Looking at the numbers, Senators been really, really good on the road in goals allowed, expected goals allowed, high danger chances allowed. The only thing they struggle on a little bit is their penalty kill. So if you went to anyone on Tampa, it would be the top power play guys, Point, Kucherov, Gunsel, Chaffee here, and Victor Hedman. The only issue is they're expensive, man. 8,800, 7,400, 7,600. It's very tough to play those guys. So for me, I won't be doing it, but it is a pretty solid power play matchup in particular for the Tampa Lightning. On the Senators side, not a spot where I'm looking to play anyone against Vasilevsky. He's one of the best goalies in the league, so it's kind of a stay-away spot for me. Goalies are pass. I will say Jake Sanderson and Thomas Chabot are both been playing really, really good. Those are both good options. So I don't mind Sanderson. I don't mind Thomas Chabot there. And then on the Tampa side, Darren Radish is still a solid value there as well. I didn't want to forget those guys. This takes me to probably my favorite spot on the slate here. It's the Devils against the Pens. Ned has been better, coming off a really big game last game. I think he's due for regression. As you can see, his goals against average is over 3 on the season here. Penn's been a mess defensively. I think the Devils can smash them up here. I love Jack Hughes, Jesper Bratt, Andre Palat. Palat at 3,600, really, really good value. I'm not seeing a lot of ownership outside of maybe Jack Hughes on this Devils squad, and I just love this matchup for the Devils. Pens are due for some positive goal regression in their favor, goals allowed, sitting at about 2.77 in terms of expected goals allowed, whereas their actuals is about 3.3, so almost a goal higher. But I do think the Devils have enough firepower on offense to get to Ned and this offense. On the Pen side, Nico Daw is going to be the starter here tonight, I believe. Haven't seen much from him, and you could definitely play Crosby, Russ, Raquel. That top line's been playing pretty good. They're fine with Grzelcyk. He'd be my preferred D-man at 3,500, but definitely way more interest in the Devils here. I like the Devils to win this game, and I like their offense spot. One of my top spots on the slate is this Devils offense. Next game on the slate, Panthers and the Caps here. Not much interest for me. Both these teams are pretty good defensively. If I had any interest, it would be with the Panthers side just because the way they're playing. So I do actually put Florida in my top 6. Barkov's good. Sammy Bennett is really the line I'm focused on. Sammy Bennett with Tkachuk and Jesper Bovequist here. Really, Chucky and Bennett are the two guys I'm looking at the most from that second line. And then that top line was all the scoring the first game or last game, on Saturday, I believe. It was Reinhart, Verhaeghe, and Barkov. Verhaeghe coming off of that hat trick there. Can go back to him. He's still a very cheap price for what his talent and his upside shows. So top 2 lines for me from Florida, definitely firmly in play for me. I like him quite a bit. And you got a cheap D-man in Nate Schmidt. That's basically stone minimum. Forsling and Ekblad are both great options. I prefer Ekblad at 4,700. Find the $400, get up to him from Forsling just to get that power play correlation there. But I do expect Florida. The only issue I have, Logan Thompson's been absolutely incredible. Did stifle last game out against Winnipeg. Could see more of that coming here against another tough opponent in Florida. But the only reason I don't love Florida is because Logan Thompson's been so good. So for me, solid spot for Florida on the Cap side. Probably a fade for me against Bobrovsky here and the Panthers. Ovechkin at 6,800. That's a fair price point. That's a cheap price point for him. Tom Wilson, 4,900. You can pair him up with Ovi. That's fine with Strome. So you get a cheap, fully correlated top line that is fairly reasonably priced. Pierre-Luc Dubois has been playing incredible with McMichael at 3,900. I mean, we were paying over $7K earlier this year for him. He's slumping, but He had a good game the other night. I think he can build on that, and at 3,800, I'm willing to pay for that and find out. He is still on that top power play, so I don't hate that. John Carlson is also a solid option there at 4,800. You got Rasmus Sandin as well. That is always solid at 2,900. So a decent game, not a great game. Have some interest on both sides for sure. Next game on the slate, Vegas Golden Knights here, heading into New York to face the Islanders here. This is an interesting one because Vegas is minus 150 favorites here, but I just don't love it. The only plays I would play from Vegas would be the top power play guys. My favorite play being Tomas Hertl and Dorofeyev here. I like those two a ton. Again, Shea Theodore, Dorofeyev, and Tomas Hertl. Those are the three guys I have the most interest in on Vegas. It is a good power play matchup. The Islanders have a terrible penalty kill. The only issue is they're very disciplined. They give up the second least penalties per game. So Vegas, if they do get a chance, they have to be very efficient. I don't mind Tomas Hertl. I don't mind Dorofeyev. I don't mind Theodore. Those are kind of the only guys I'm interested in there. On the Islanders side, you got some cheap D-men that are amazing plays with the Dobson injury. Their price is starting to come up, but they're still too cheap. Tony DeAngelo, running point, taking that Dobson role. 5,500, don't mind him, but I much prefer Alex Romanov for $1,000 savings. He's been insane, really, really good. DeAngelo is really good. Pilic is really good as well. So those three guys I really like a lot. Pilic, 3,800 is probably my second favorite too. Romanov, DeAngelo, my least favorite just because he is 5,500. But decent spot. Adin Hill's really good goalie at 7,500, really good goalie option. I prefer Adin Hill in this matchup over Sorokin. So give me Vegas line 2 here and Adin Hill, and then the cheap Islanders D-men are my preferred plays in this spot. Next game on the slate, Edmonton and the Blues. Edmonton, pretty good spot here for them. Binnington's not been great. Edmonton, I think, is one of the heaviest, if not the heaviest favorite on the slate. They're going to get ownership, but it's for a good reason here. Ownership or offense, on this slate is few and far between. So McDavid, good option. Nugent Hopkins, Leon, Hyman, Victor Arvidsson. Corey Perry is a really nice value at 2,800. He had an assist last game, I believe. He skated next to McDavid. Anytime you're putting any skater next to McDavid, it's a huge boost to them. So I don't mind Corey Perry. Bouchard's been playing really, really good right now, 6,200. I think he scored last game as well. So I don't mind him. It's a pretty solid matchup here against the Blues. But it is a little scary because my expected goals numbers do show the Blues are top 6 in the NHL on home ice in expected goals allowed, and top 10 in the league in shots allowed, and top 10 as well in the league in high danger chances allowed. So Edmonton's going to probably have a tough time scoring, but they definitely have some of the most upside on the slate, in my opinion, just from a star-studded talent level aspect. On the Blues side, it depends what Skinner you're going to get. You can get the Skinner that comes out, it's going to shut you out, or you can get the Skinner that comes out and gives up 6 goals, right? So on the Blues, Bobby Thomas, Kyrou, Buchnevich would be the guys that I would mess with. Won't really go to anyone else. Braden Shen has been really good all season with Holloway. So those 5 are kind of the only guys that I'm interested in. Thomas, Shen, Kyrou, Buchnevich, and Holloway. Parayko's fine, I guess, from a D-man standpoint. He's just got a lot of upside, but I prefer other guys in that range there or cheaper than him. So solid game, not a great game. Prefer the Edmonton side for the most part there. Next game on the slate here, we have the Carolina Hurricanes and the Winnipeg Jets. This screams defensive hockey to me. Hellebuck, really good goalie. Freddie Anderson, not as great of goalie, but he has been really good this season. It's more to showcase the defense that Carolina displays and how they control your offensive zone. I think this is a 2-1 type hockey game. I don't love it from an offensive standpoint here. Hellebuck, good option in net at 7,600. Probably one of my favorite goalie options on the slate. You could definitely play Kyle Connor, always Scheifele, but for me, it's more DeMello, Dylan Sandberg, Dylan squared, if you will, 2,900 to 3,300. They've been smashing, so I like those two guys a lot. Again, Jacob Slavin is well at 3,700, another good option there. Sean Walker's been played pretty good as well at 2,700. He's a solid value option, but pretty much value or bust for me in this game. Mainly the interest in the D-men and the goalies for me in that one. It screams playoff hockey to me, and it screams the low-scoring affair. So that's kind of what I'm interested in there. Jumping into the next game, we have Toronto and the Flames. I think this is going to be definitely the chalk of the slate here is going to be Toronto, minus 150 favorites. They're in the best matchup on the slate, in my opinion, and I love them. They're my top team of the night. Between them and the Devils, I really like it a lot. Austin Matthews, great option. He hasn't been looking as good as of late. He's just been kind of going through the motions, it looks like, out there, but him going through the motions is definitely better when he's 8,700 instead of 10K. So his price has come down due to his production dropping, but I still really like him a lot. 8,700, great option. John Tavares, amazing option with Nylander, Marner, and Matthew Knies. Bobby McMann is solid as well, but I prefer the top two lines more. Knies, Marner, Nylander, Tavares, and Matthews. I really like those guys a lot. One of my top spots on the slate here is going to be these Toronto Maple Leafs. Joseph Woll is going to be my favorite spend-up goalie on the slate. Coming off a massive 45-save win against Edmonton, he was the only reason Edmonton didn't absolutely smash that slate. We were all over Edmonton, and Joseph Woll said, no, not today. So depends what Woll you get. I could see a letdown here, so that could boost some offense here from the Flames. It would be the Kadri line for me, Huberdeau, Nazem Kadri. I will say this third line is pretty sneaky here with Morgan Frost now on this squad coming over from Philly. So I don't mind the Morgan Frost, Igor Sharangovich mini stack there. I like that. Morgan Frost on that top power play. Really good value option there. The Coronado, Blake Coleman, and Backlund line has been great all season long. So Flames definitely have some interest. It's just I don't love picking on Joseph Woll and these Toronto guys. So for me, main interest on the Toronto side. Last game on the main slate here is going to be those Flyers and the Utah Hockey Club here, and I actually think this is an interesting game. I think this is a solid spot here for the Flyers. I just think it's a metrics standpoint for me. Noah Cates gets a nice value being on that top line with the Frost trade, so I like the top line for me. Noah Cates, Konechny, and Forster here. I like that line. Tippett is on day-to-day, so monitor to see if Tippett is going to make that roster. If he comes back, I would like it even more. But right now you get a really nice value option in Forster and Noah Cates to go with Konechny. And I think this could be an explosion spot for that top line. Konechny is going to have no ownership because he hasn't been great. He's been getting crushed, or not been getting crushed, excuse me, but he just hasn't been producing. I think that changes here. So I like Philly line 1 quite a bit here tonight, and line 2 with Couture, Michkov, and mainly those two, but you can throw in Richard in there if you want. He's basically still in minimum. So good options here from the Flyers standpoint. Connor Ingram's not been great. Would like this less if Veggie went, but with Connor Ingram in there, definitely like the Flyers quite a bit. And then Erson's been a solid goalie. I think he's a solid option as well. So for me, not really too interested in this Utah side. It would, if I went to anyone, it would be Barrett Hayton, Clayton Keller, Nick Schmaltz, Josh Doan are kind of the 4 guys I'm interested in. And then Sergachev and Kesselring are also 2 good options there from the D-men, as well with Ali Mata as well. That's all 10 games, though, on the main slate. Again, these last 4 games do show up on our stone here, but they are not on the DraftKings main slate, so I'm going to cut the show there. The slate plan has been already live up on the website for SHIPIT Nation subscribers. Check that out. If you're not a member yet, use that promo code SHIP50. Gets you $50 off your first month with all access to our Shiptimizer, in-house optimizer designed to help you ship as well. Huge weekend in the PGA streets. We had NBA going on. We have MMA for the next 12 weeks. We have PGA in full swing with a huge weekend this weekend in the NFL streets as well, right, with the Super Bowl. And we got the Waste Management going on. So great week to get in. SHIPIT Nation, $50 off your first month. But good luck tonight in those contests. Hope to see those SHIPIT Nation logos at the top for myself, Nadesify. Let's ship it.